Morning, Dan and Amy. The question, are you going to let the government take your home? Are you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you going to let the government in Illinois take your home? And you would think that's an obvious, there's an obvious answer to that question, right? But it's not obvious at all because the answer in this state so far, the state writ large, yes, I am. That's the answer. That's the answer you've given by the politicians you've elected at every level, including the local level. This story out of AP today, 150 mayors have signed an op-ed opposing Governor Rauner's idea of freezing property taxes in Illinois. 150 mayors. Suburban mayors band together against property tax freeze, including mayors like Gail Smolinski of suburban Roselle. The list of 150 has not been made public yet. I think it will be this afternoon. We'll post it. I'll tweet it when it is, so you can see if your mayor's on the list. You may want to fire a call into the mayor's office to inquire yourself. And by the way, property tax freeze. We have the highest property taxes in the nation.
Yeah.
Why would you want to freeze them? The governor is wrong, and these mayors are even more wrong. A freeze is not sufficient.
You want a reduction?
Massive. Because you're destroying people's home equity. You're destroying the largest investment most people make in their lives. Massive. This is massively wrong. How massively wrong is it? On average, statewide, 3 times the national average is the effective property tax rate as a percentage of home value in Illinois. How wrong is it? This from the Tax Foundation, a write-up that Joe Kaiser did for Illinois Policy, Illinois Policy Institute, illinoispolicy.org, just looking at the Tax Foundation numbers through 2015. There's about 3,000 counties in this country. Mm-hmm. The highest median property tax bill by county in Illinois, and then the national ranking. The number one highest median property tax bill in Chicago, in Illinois, and remember these are 2015 numbers. Lake County, number one in the state, number 21 nationally. 21 of more than 3,000 counties nationally. DuPage is 2 in the state, number 27 nationally. McHenry is 4th in the state, number 30 nationally. Kane, 5th in the state, 33 nationally. Will, 6th in the state, 34 nationally. Cook, because you have commercial that subsidizes residential, is 8th in the state, 67th in the nation. So there's 3,000 counties in the nation. Cook and the Collar counties are all in the top 67.
Congratulations.
So, but that's why I say when I want people to call in, but don't tell me that people aren't saying it's okay for the government to take my home. I don't care, because that's what's happened, and it didn't happen overnight. So the people you're electing, that is your proxy vote on the question that I've asked, and the answer is yes, it's okay to take my home. So we've done analysis of suburban Cook and the Collar counties. Now let's move to the city. And this, I don't think this has ever been done before. If it has by any other outlet, you tell me. This is in my outlet, ChicagoCityWire.com. We're breaking up the city basically in quintiles. There's 50 wards, so roughly we're going to do 10 wards at a time, and we're on the south side today by neighborhood.
Oh, good.
Here's the story. There's 2 different markets for home value. One is the actual private market where you buy and sell homes. And then there's the government market for home values, which is to inflate home values, to inflate property tax bills. Let me give you an example. The south side. A red brick bungalow, 12252 South State Street, sold for $39,000 on April 4th. Has a property tax bill of $2,219. That's an effective property tax rate of 5.7% of home value, 6 times the national average. The Cook County Assessor's Office says the home that actually sold for $39,000 is worth $147,000. So do you see the scam, this EAV system that we have, equalized assessed valuation, this mysticism? The politicians inflate the value of your home in terms of what its actual market value is, what you could get for it.
to try to
increase
take
your
your
taxes.
money. Yeah, take your money. I mean, and these mayors, they're going to keep robbing their constituents, and no one's going to do anything about it.
Well, Smolinski says, "Oh, the property tax have nothing to do with the state budget."
Oh,
Well, not directly, but it's all interconnected, isn't it?
yes, it is.
And so, if you stopped funding, in many cases overfunding local schools with spiraling property tax increases, if you got rid of this scam called equalized assessed valuation and the layers of assessing that happen, and you establish a true market value and you cap property taxes as a percentage of home value, that would starve the beast at the local level and force discipline at the state level. Because if you want to continue spending on K through 12 education at current rates, then you better reprioritize how the state spends money, what it spends money on, and at what levels. And it would force the state to abide its responsibility, constitutional responsibility, to be the majority, the primary funder is the language, primary funder of K through 12 education in the state, which I support. And then this is where you get both. You get discipline at the local level as well as the state level. This is why this issue is so powerful, I think, because it has a great multiplier effect for relief for homeowners, for Illinois families, as well as discipline for government at the local as well as the state level. But that's just me. And I'm just a guy who talks on the radio, so what do I know? But here's what I do know, because we did the analysis. I'm going to give you another example of this EAV scam, underreported. South side of West Pullman, steps from the Little Calumet River, which is, Chicago's southern city limits. A 3-bedroom home at 12912 West Peoria Street sold for $60,000 on April 11th. The assessor said that home is worth twice that amount, $108,000. A white vintage farmhouse, 310 West 116th Street, 13 blocks north, sold the same day for $9,000. $9,000.
Okay, and a 310 West 116th Street.
The assessor says that home is worth $95,000, that farmhouse.
Oh, it went from it sold for $9,000, but they say it's $95,000.
Correct.
If it was worth $95,000, the homeowner would have sold it for $95,000. Because they don't want to get, because it's kind of a big difference, $95,000 to $9,000. So if you could make money as a homeowner selling your house, you would sell it for that.
In the last 10 homes in West Pullman, last 10 home sales, we found 9 of the 10 were overvalued by the assessor, 5 by more than 250%. On average, their official assessor values were 75% higher than their actual values. In dollar figures, just looking at these 10 homes as a snapshot, the homes sold for $607,000. The assessor valued them at $1.064 million. This is the story all over the neighborhoods of the South Side, as it is everywhere else in the state. Destruction. Your home value goes up, your property taxes go up, your home value goes down, your property taxes go up. Government is recession-proof. In 25 of the 44 neighborhoods we looked at, home values were cut by half or more between 2007 and 15. In 39 of 44, they fell by more than 30%. So, and by the way,
yeah,
where are we talking about? Democrat strongholds.
All right.
Well,
what about talking about the Cook County assessor? I mean, Joe Barrios.
Who's the Cook County Democrat Party chairman.
Exactly. Hello.
We're talking about majority-minority neighborhoods. West Inglewood, between 07 and 15, down 87% median sale price. Inglewood, down 86%. Riverdale, Altgeld Gardens, down 84%. Back of the Yards, 83%. Ed Burke. South Deering, down 81%. South Chicago, down 80%. West Pullman, down 78%. Washington Park, down 77%. Roseland, down 77%. Woodlawn, down 73%. Gresham, down 73%. South Shore, down 71%. Chicago Lawn, down 71%. Washington Heights, down 67%. Go all the way down to the neighborhoods where a lot of city workers live. The cops and the firefighters, the city workers, the Irish Dems, the Hines family, and all the other Democrat panjandrums in the city, I should say, and by extension, the state. Mount Greenwood, down 24%. Morgan Park, down 32%. Beverly, down 24%. Bridgeport, down 21%. And you want to know where this goes in terms of effective property tax rate? The changes, here's who gets hammered the most. Everybody gets hammered. Who gets hammered the most? The least able to afford them. minorities, the black families that vote 95% with Chicago Democrats, who are saying, I don't care, you take my home, you take my investment away. The effective property tax rate in the 8 years, 07 to 15, in Inglewood, for example, has increased 706%. These are all, until you get down to like Morgan Park, the effective tax rate in less than the last decade has effectively doubled in the majority of the communities that we looked at on the south side, the 44 neighborhoods. And most of them, the ones that are being hurt the worst, are the ones with the heaviest concentration of minorities. It's fact. Here's where this is going. This is just these numbers are astounding. The projected median price in 2023, right? We've done this. Now we extend out where this is going if you do nothing to change the trajectory. Where this is going. In 2023, if you live in Inglewood, you will have paid 857% of median home value during the 15 years, 07 to 2023. You will have paid for your home more than 8 times just in property taxes during 15 years. Does that encourage home ownership? I mean, and all the way on down the line to, again, the wealthier neighborhoods on the south side where the politically connected are, where the city workers live, the Mount Greenwoods and the Beverleys, where you're still, although it's much less, Mount Greenwood, 34%, so you will have paid for your house an extra third over those 15 years. Beverly, 33%, you will have paid for your house an extra third of a time just in property taxes over those 15 years. Anybody care? Okay to take your home then? Yeah. Philip on the northwest side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. It'd be nice if maybe you could put this information somewhere else besides our wonderful radio station. You know, maybe a little excerpt of what you're saying on the FM music stations or someplace where people from those neighborhoods listen to this and would hear this information, because I know they're probably not listening to our station. And they need to know these things. And no one else is telling them.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Phil. Well, we post all the studies that we've done at upstream-ideas.com. We've podcast the show, and what we need people to do, you're right. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, we don't have, 7 million Illinois families listening to the program on a daily basis and understanding what's happening. But this is not a one-person, one radio show job. You got to share info. Be an opinion leader within your circle of influence and just distribute the info. And what we're ultimately going to do is we'll have snapshots of every single person's home in the state. We've got about 90% of them compiled so far. We'll have a snapshot of exactly what your home status is, where it's going to be in 23, your single home, not your even neighborhood, not your county, your home. And we'll compare what you're paying here to what you'd be paying for a similarly situated home in a similarly situated community in Indiana, Michigan, our neighboring states. So you have some context, and we're hoping that this will be information that people will share and talk about in their neighborhoods and within their circles of influence. The idea that you can just outsource this to, it's fine. This is what I do for a living, so it's fine. I'll do the legwork, but in terms of other people have to distribute the info. Short of us leafleting the entire state from the air like this is Baghdad, we need people to work their friend and colleague and coworker and co-volunteer and co-parishioner circles. I mean, it's the only way. Chris and Wilmette, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. Just want to make the quick point that, as usual, the government's killing the goose that lays its eggs, because the higher the taxes go, the less the house is worth, and so it's unsustainable.
It's exactly it. That's a one-sentence summation of exactly what's happening. Thanks for the call, Chris. By the way, why is this happening in New York and not Chicago? You've got a New York Assemblywoman, Nicole Malliotakis, who is Latina, who threw her hat into the ring Tuesday to run against de Blasio for mayor of New York. She's a Republican.
Good for her.
Republican legislator. She's 36 years old, too. She becomes the fourth Republican candidate to announce an intention to square off against de Blasio, a socialist mayor of New York. And when was the last time we had a Republican or even somebody who identifies as independent but center right-leaning mayor of Chicago? Mayoral candidate of Chicago? Mayor has been, a century plus. Mayoral candidate in Chicago is probably Don Hayter in 1987. 30 years. And what's happening to Chicago? You just heard what's happening on the South Side. And this is a failure of the Republican Party to participate as well. And that should change by the time we get around to 2019 and Tiny Dancer's reelect. Chuck in Orland Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi, Dan and Amy. Where this is leading is bankruptcy, because if they keep going like this, there's not going to be any homes in Illinois. People are already moving out. The value is going to go down, and people aren't even going to be buying. They're going to leave the state. I mean, they got to do something to change this, because it's crazy. I mean, and how do you do it? How do you change it? And where do you get the income to offset? If you do massive reductions on the real estate taxes, where do you get the income to make up for that?
Well, wait, here's the thing, Chuck. We have the highest state and local tax burden in the country and the largest unfunded pension liabilities and the greatest backlog of state bills. This is not a revenue problem. It's a spend problem. And the only way to address the spend problem is to put handcuffs on politicians at every level. And the way you do that is with hard legal caps at the property tax level and forcing Springfield's hand in terms of prioritizing the $55 billion they receive every year. Thanks for the call. This is what these mayors are doing, crying poor. Where are you going to pay for it? No. Where are you going to pay for it? It is a spend problem, and they will rapaciously eat through everything you own like termites through wood. There is never enough. What is the mantra of the left? How much more do you want? More. Always more. Jonathan in Hoffman Estates.
Hi, Dan. Good morning. I'm a real estate attorney, and we're talking about property taxes, property values. It actually gets to a federal level, too, with the Fannie Mae bank-owned properties, whatnot. I had a client that was trying to buy a property in Chicago. It was a Fannie Mae Home Pass property. My client was using different financing. Fannie Mae said it was worth a higher amount. My client's appraisal said a lower amount. They would not lower at all to my client's appraisal. They insisted. Fannie Mae already decided the value. They could buy at the higher value if they wanted, start with the property underwater, kind of recycle the mortgage issue that we started with, back in 2009 and whatnot. So this problem with values and property taxes, the feds are doing their part to kick in as well.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jonathan. Appreciate that anecdote. I mean, it's just a scam. And so you're just going to lay back and get scammed. Is that it? Appears to be. Lucy on the South Side.
Morning, Dan. Hey, listen, you can walk up and down your neighborhood all around the town and convince everybody. It won't make a hill of beans difference. You go to these school board meetings, and you can make your points. You can explain everything. They vote for the teachers union. They get their raises. They get their benefits. We get screwed with our property values. They eat up our equity. It doesn't matter, Dan. I've been to so many school board meetings. They don't listen to the residents. They determine how much money they're going to put us in debt, and we are sitting here. We have to pay for all their mistakes. Nobody is held liable for any kind of mistakes at all.
Well, yeah, thanks for the call, Lucy. I appreciate that. Sounds like maybe Lucy should be a school board member. This is it. You're right. The people that don't listen need to be switched out. Can it happen? Of course it can happen. Why do you have four Republican candidates running for mayor of New York? Because they think de Blasio is unbeatable? Is Rahm unbeatable? No. Are members of the city council unbeatable? Is anybody unbeatable? No. We rationalize inaction by saying, oh, this is the best we can do. Oh, nothing's ever going to change. Things change all the time. Change all the time. Change doesn't need an agent. The question is in which direction, and that's predicated and determined by who's ever the most active and the most persuasive. It's time for people who don't want their homes taken by the government to get more active and become more persuasive.